Whether opening books, beers, or buttons, plenty of fun can be started and finished within 10 minutes. Unfortunately, Quibi followed this premise, but was led off the profitability plank rather than to treasured success. Whether failure's footsteps stumble into orange jumpsuits or red profit margins, the first question upon the doomed destination's arrival is, how did I get here? For Quibi, there are multiple answers to why it failed the test of time. As most college students trying to snatch victory from the jaws of last night's alcohol-fueled defeat know, the best choice is all of the above. First of all, the brainchilds of this operation are, soon to be were, Meg Whitman and Jeff Katzenberg. Both of these individuals are not strangers to business success. Whitman advanced eBay's presence to be a leading online entity for years, and although Katzenberg's overall track record is shaky, he was a key figure in Disney's renaissance in the 1990s. While those accomplishments eternalize desirable resumes, the equally permanent mantra "past performance is not indicative of future results" shares its scowled visage away from finance lectures once in a while. Whitman is 64 and Katzenberg is 69. Nice. While being aged in the 60s doesn't automatically equate to being out of touch with what a targeted audience of younger watchers who feature notoriously low attention spans, it can certainly increase the likelihood of that happening. Acclaimed veteran features writer Benjamin Wallace's investigative article for Vulture, "Is Anyone Watching Quibi?" confirms generational disconnect suspicions. When I ask Whitman what TV shows she watches, she responds, "I'm not sure I'd classify myself as an entertainment enthusiast," Wallace writes. "But any particular shows she likes?" "Grant," she offered. "On the History Channel. It's about President Grant." Although bushy beards are popular among millennials as part of No Shave November, Ulysses S. Grant fails to march on the cutting edge of coolness in 2020. To the surprise of few viewers, Katzenberg doesn't seem to be hip beyond hip pain either. In enthusing about what a show could mean for Quibi, Katzenberg would repeatedly invoke the same handful of musty touchstones: America's Funniest Home Videos, Siskel and Ebert, and Jane Fonda's exercise tapes, Wallace writes. When Gal Gadot, leading actress best known for her role as Wonder Woman, came to the offices and delivered an impassioned speech about wanting to elevate the voices of girls and women, Katzenberg wondered aloud whether she might become the new Jane Fonda and do a workout series for Quibi. This report certainly isn't music to investors' ears. Hall & Oates, a band Katzenberg and Whitman are far more likely to be familiar with than their target audience, is Out of Touch ranks above You Make My Dreams Come True on the hierarchy of this situation's prehistoric playlist, plastered in pessimism. Let's continue the fun beyond alliteration. Another reason Quibi failed to catch on is the lack of a catchy name. Sure, Pornhub ironically isn't the most titillating domain name in the world, but it's easy to remember and makes sense. YouTube and eBay work extremely well because they are names that resonate and are quick and easy to remember or type in. Quibi? Looks awkward, doesn't it? In this case, you can judge a book by its cover. Quibi stands for Quick Bites, an attempt at a tasty title that plays into the 10-minute movie video theme. I'm sure many of you didn't even figure that out without me telling you, and will forget that information in 10 minutes. Failing an unaided recall test for a site that aims to compete with YouTube and Netflix? Another facet of failure that deserves the same sullen soundtrack is Quibi's lack of advertising to demographic-appropriate avenues. The project's premise clearly lends itself to a core 18 to 35 demographic, extending a touch further or lower. According to Pew Research published in 2018, approximately 88% of 18 to 29-year-olds indicate that they use any form of social media. The usage statistic dips, but stays strong at 78% among those ages 30 to 49. Despite these statistics screaming at businesses to fully leverage social media platforms, Quibi advertisements didn't reach TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. In fact, Quibi's magnum opus resonated with the strength of a mouse's whimper. A strange, confusing Super Bowl ad that cost $5.6 million for 30 seconds that was broadcasted to an estimated 102 million people was seen by the vast majority of users as a food commercial. Following the misguided money trail intensifies the recipe for business disaster. Each show at one point cost $100,000 per minute to make. The exhaustive cast linked to Quibi was tremendous. Talents include LeBron, Jennifer Lopez, Tracy Morgan, Demi Lovato, Reese Witherspoon, The Rock, Kevin Hart, John Travolta, Trevor Noah, and Usher, among many other prominent entertainers. Of course, unlike perhaps the spearheads of this doomed project, we don't live in the bygone society of stars becoming stars and building brand loyalty out of aggregate exposure instead of results. A lifetime of entertainment options exist now, prioritizing the need to create a quality product rather than attaching a quality person. Outside of social media and sports, completely different realms, people just don't follow celebrities like they used to. Consider over half of the top 20 highest-grossing all-time actors are heavily linked to Marvel, many of whom have very limited box office success outside of that carefully branded collective juggernaut. Marvel puts forth efforts largely agreeable to the public. DC diehards spare me your metal batarangs. Quibi's content? Not so much. A simple Google search of Quibi show reviews unravels the mystery of why Quibi disappeared from the public faster than a Thanos snap. Many outlets weren't feeling so good about the mediocre results. The first 2 pages link to negative headlines from Vulture, The Verge, IGN, Washington Post, and USA Today. Reviews.com yields a meager 2.5 rating aggregate, not exactly on par with Netflix's frequently acclaimed original content. Speaking of Netflix-esque, both Whitman and Katzenberg repeatedly proclaimed, "We are not competing with Netflix." Unfortunately, this statement completely misaligned with Quibi's competition, which in fact includes Netflix and other top video streaming services of versatile offerings and purpose. Any company that doesn't identify the problem their product attempts to solve or the market factors of their business correctly is built on a foundation of quicksand. All these factors combine to sink Quibi. I hope you had a much more successful time taking in my video than Quibi's. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing to the channel for more informative, entertaining business content. Stay safe, everyone.